DNVR Broncos live, coming to you from the DNVR Bar here on the corner of Colfax and York in sunny and warm and beautiful downtown Denver, Colorado. It's actually, so yesterday we got back from Vegas and Allie was like, oh my God, it feels so nice out. And I was like, it's 94 degrees. She was like, yeah, it feels nice and cool out. Just a solid 110 the whole time we were in Vegas.
That kind of sounds awful.
You get used to it. But like there's some weird things where like the wind blows and it feels like someone's just holding a hairdryer next to you.
God.
So yeah.
Wow.
Well,
is that why you lost your voice?
Probably not.
Yeah. No.
I would say my voice isn't lost. It's just
really
meandering.
Okay.
Like I know where it is.
Where is it?
It's right here.
Okay.
Lost would mean I couldn't talk at all.
I guess that's fair. I can't really do that voice.
Oh,
how many drinks did you have?
Total?
As of yesterday at podcast time. It was a question from the count. I think he set the line at, I think it was 25.
Total drinks in Vegas?
Yeah.
For one night?
So that's the thing. We took the over.
Yeah, the over was a safe bet. I would say, so I was there for 4 nights.
Yep.
Average 10 a day, at least.
That makes sense. Like that's kind of the number.
Yeah.
Do you drink more when you go to the basketball games? Or
No,
do you drink
less?
See, isn't that weird? Like usually that's the other way around. You go to sports and that's where you do most of your drinking.
Yep. The thing is, you get free drinks when you're at the tables.
Yep.
And so that's when you, like any other time, it's kind of weird. Like paying for drinks feels weird because you're just like, oh, if I was just at the casino right now, the drinks would be free.
Did you make money?
No, but I didn't like lose my ass, you know?
Okay.
Which is a dub in Vegas.
Would you have saved money if you had just gone to the bar and paid for the drinks instead of playing games?
Not in Vegas.
Okay, there you go.
If I was just in Denver, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's fair.
But man, it was a blast.
What do you drink when you're at the table?
I was drinking a combination of like canned cocktails.
Okay.
No free ads. And actually, well, that's funny. Anyways.
Legal beats.
Yeah, exactly. And tequila soda.
Yeah, okay. Because I know there's some people who go and they know like there's like 6 different alcohols in like one drink. And so they'll get like some crazy drink because like bang for your buck.
Like a Long Island iced tea.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the big one. It's a good idea.
The big thing from this week was Circa is so sick.
Huh.
It is so sick. Like I cannot wait for us to do an NFL trip. There's a couple possibilities of us going out there. It's so cool. Like the food in there is amazing. The sports book's amazing. The pool's amazing. Mm-hmm. There's all these little like nooks and crannies you can go into. I like the location. Like it's in downtown Vegas, which I think is
like Fremont.
Yeah, exactly.
See that's
more my style.
Yes, it wasn't my style initially, but then you go to Vegas like 3 times and you're like, okay, I kind of get what the big casinos are about.
Yep.
Where can I go and just get like the $8 steak dinners and stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was fun. We found some good restaurants around there, but it was cool, man. Our the ALLCITY NBA squad is fun. It was fun. They're really good at their jobs.
Even the Suns guys?
Even the Suns guys.
I hate the Suns.
How was Zach's wedding?
Zach's wedding was good. That was because you're way out there. Like
I've never heard of the place where it was.
Yeah. I mean, because we had gone to Keystone the week before.
Okay.
So Keystone, you go like up toward like Keystone.
Vail.
Yeah. Yeah. But then you go out the other way and I like the vibe way better the other way.
Wait, the other way, meaning what?
I don't know the other road to a separate part of the mountains. I just drive. They're just arrows to me. But then you like go through there and it's like just small towns and stuff. Because like when you go up to like Keystone and Vail, I really hate that part of Colorado because just like everywhere, it's just like all these like, it feels like everybody's trying to take your money. It just feels like exactly. And so that's the worst. But then you go the other way. It's like, oh, this is kind of nice. Like you're just out in the mountains. There's like not much going on. And then you get way out there because it was at like Mount Princeton Hot Springs, it was like a 2.5 hour drive, which wasn't, I don't know.
No, it's not bad at all.
It's not too bad, but it was cool out there. Like,
it sounded bad when I was trying to figure out if we could fly to Vegas, fly back to Denver, drive to the wedding, drive back and fly back to Vegas.
That's tricky.
That's when 2.5 hours became a little tricky.
That would be tough. But the other thing is like, I know like the Spanos wound up staying at a goat farm.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't commit to going until like, I think they said they got I think it was, it might not have even been an Airbnb like the day before. Mm-hmm. But so like they weren't really drinking and Andre wasn't really drinking because they weren't staying at the resort. And so when you're like, it's like a 25-minute drive and Ubers don't exist up there. Like there's just no option. So me and Lexi were having the time of our lives and they were watching.
They were playing it slow.
Well, I mean, Kate and Lindsay had a good time.
Right.
Yeah.
Damn.
But it was a good time.
That's awesome.
When Zach came over to our table, the first thing I said to him was, "You're welcome for coming."
That's good bit.
Yeah,
it's a good bit.
I know, it was pretty good. Because he just kept saying, "Thanks for coming." Like, you could just hear him coming, the way he talks, you know? Yeah. It's like talking to those people, talking to those people, talking to those people. That was a good time.
While we're sharing dumb jokes that we said this weekend, I went gambling with John Riskin.
Ah.
And when we got to the table, I said, "Are you risking it all?"
Oh, boy.
It's a pretty good one.
That is a pretty good one. Well, Parker was there too, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I like when Parker's on trips.
Parker's a good time on trips.
Parker's a great time on trips.
I love. There's just something like super fun about working all day and then partying all day.
That does weird things to you. Well, because you're so tired.
Yep.
Like you just start in like a very weird place.
And then just incredible rallies.
Yes.
And since everyone around you is doing it, makes it easier.
Definitely.
If it's like you and your girlfriend, you'd just be like, "Let's just go to bed."
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. This weekend we're going to Montana. Been like actually going all the way up to Canada. We're staying at like this crazy hotel. It's like 100 years old. Oh yeah.
Crazy.
Speaking of bad jokes, I asked my mom this morning, should I forget my passport? She's
nice.
like, no. Yeah.
Good one.
Because she keeps panicking and yeah. But that's gonna be crazy. My goal, I don't know. I'd love to see like 10 bears. Realistically, if you see like 3 or 4 and there's like a grizzly in there, that would be.
You're saying one is a guarantee?
Not necessarily a guarantee, but you spend like 3. So what? I'm pretty sure there's like, I can't remember if it's a bear or it's a grizzly every 1,000 acres in that area. And I guess it's more once you get up to the Canada part. So 3 days, 4. I think there's an 80% chance I'll see a bear.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's good.
85.
Ooh, it's going up.
I feel good.
The 85 bears.
85 bears. Perfect. Well, could you imagine seeing 85 bears?
Have you seen the video of the guy who like a bear just like comes up to him and it like seems like a crazy video that like there's a bear next to him and then he just pans over to like this river that he's by and there's just like 100 bears in it.
I have not seen that.
It's crazy.
But I do. There's a YouTube video that I think it's called like Bear Sits Next to Guy.
That's it.
Oh, is that the one?
Yeah.
Maybe that is it. But then like the top comment is like, how has anybody disliked this video? The bear literally walks over and sits next to this guy and it's perfect quality. Like, how is anybody disliking? That was a good one.
They're probably mad that he like videoed it or something. So anyways, huge congratulations to Zach.
Yes.
And I also think
Mr. Mueller now.
He's man, you're full of bad jokes, aren't you?
Yeah.
He's on his honeymoon now. Set the over under on Broncos news tweets from Zach on his honeymoon.
Well, he sent 2 tweets about the Justin Simmons thing
since
this
he
morning.
Tweeted. Those tweets came after he tweeted like, "All right, I'm stepping away, like going on my honeymoon to spend time with my wife." I
know. That's when Yahir yesterday was like, "Wow, I can't believe that he's not just taking the time off." And it's like, what are you talking about? You can't take the time off. Like the tweets, the news doesn't send itself.
Someone else will tweet it.
Yeah, someone else will tweet it, but he's not putting himself at that disadvantage.
He should put the phone. He should put the phone down. Zach, you have my permission to put the phone down.
He's not watching this.
I know. Well, maybe he is. Now he's going to put his phone down.
What are the odds we get a Zach tweet before the show is over?
Really, really high. Also, he's like already on his honeymoon. It's not like he's like travel day.
True. He's out there.
He's in the honeymoon.
Only 2 tweets yesterday, plus a reply to one of his tweets.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Other congratulations to be had, especially since the last time I was on this show. Spencer and Kylie had their baby.
Oh, true, they did.
Sawyer. Once we got back from Vegas last night, cleaned up a little, got to go meet him.
Wow.
10 out of 10 baby. I might be a little bit biased because Allie and I are the godparents.
Wow.
Which is like probably the coolest thing anyone's ever asked me to do or be.
Yeah.
But yeah, 10 out of 10 baby.
10 out of 10. This is not the time for all my baby takes.
No, it's not.
But it's really cool that they have a baby.
It is. There you go. Good job.
Tomorrow, ask me about babies.
Nope. You're going to have to wait a couple weeks. No baby slander will be tolerated around me.
They need to be toddlers for it to actually count as baby slander.
I don't know. It's slander. I think babies kind of... I think people in general just diverge as they age, I will say.
Diverge.
Become unique. You talk to an old person, they're very different than other old people. You talk to a young person, they're less different. You can imagine babies.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 baby, cool.
Like a 5-day-old baby, everything they do is cool.
Really? You should work at like a nursery.
I like my job.
Okay.
I like my job.
Okay.
Pat Surtain, rightfully ranked number 1 corner in the league by his peers.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
No, not really. I did think the Twitter drama yesterday was fun. With Darrelle Revis fighting with Asante Samuel and all that stuff.
And they were fighting over Tariq Woolen versus Sauce Gardner?
I think Darrelle Revis really had Sauce's back in general, but I think there was a lot of Woolen. I think there's like I think Pat Surtain factored in.
He did.
In some ways. I mostly stuck to the Pat Surtain stuff.
So what was the Pat Surtain? Was Darrelle Revis saying that Sauce should have been over Pat?
I'm not sure if he said it that blatantly. I think he said something more vague. Who started it with the vague tweet? I know that Asante... Sauce. Sauce himself said, so since you said production over coverage, who's your number 1 cornerback in the league? And tagged Asante because Asante had said that before. Asante said, see, it's a year-by-year thing. It's not one corner is the best. Last year I say it was Pat Surtain. So that came up, and so it was like a nice little... flex. But then there's like all the fights about all this stuff, and then Asante saying that he's as good as Darrelle Revis, and then a lot of the people pulling up the stats that say, well, in 2010 he was the best, and they compare it to other corners in 2010. Notably, did not compare him to Champ Bailey, which would have been a great comparison because he was clearly better than either one of them. That's why he just gets to sit off to the side.
I was curious about this. Do you have a take on best corner of all time? Like, do you think it's Champ? Because like I just say like it's Deion Sanders, and I think
that's like the general
easy.
Consensus.
But I know some Broncos fans want to make the Champ case, which like
why not?
It's an honorable case.
And like there's no. That's the thing about cornerbacks is like there's no stats. Like it's just like you had to watch them a lot to have any sort of idea, and most people don't, so they just throw shit at the wall. And
it almost needs like its own group of experts to break it down.
That's just how football works. It's like it's not like baseball where you can just say, oh, he hit this many home runs and his batting average was that. So that means he's better than this guy who did those things. Like, I don't know. Football rankings, I guess once you get to the guys who are just man cover corners, a lot of it is pretty similar. But in a year-to-year argument, when it's, you know, like Josh Norman, oh my goodness, is he the best corner in the NFL? That was a conversation like 5 years ago.
Yep.
It's like, well, he just plays cover 2. And so he sits back and he jumps stuff. It's not like he's playing man all across the field. So you're asked to do different things. And
that's the Tariq Woolen conversation, which is just like he's taking a third in a cover 3.
Richard Sherman, too.
Yep.
It's like, wow, Richard Sherman's great. Yeah, at playing a deep third. And there's like matching and some of that stuff in there, too. It's closer than just like the cover 2 stuff, but I don't know. Most rankings are
Richard
just
Sherman,
bad.
I will say they
just get clicks.
Play some more like hybrid stuff with him playing man.
Yeah.
But it is true. Champ, you know, Pat Surtain, especially last year, was just pretty much on the island the whole time.
You just couldn't do much better. Like he had a couple of down games, but
when you get beat by Devontae Adams, like that's okay.
Especially when you stuff him like 5 times.
Yes.
Ooh, I think since Zach is gone, I get to do a bunch of things that Zach does, like plan podcasts and post podcasts, but also since I'm gonna be in Montana, I've scheduled out like 45 tweets from the Broncos account over the next.
Man. I really feel like Zach's absence has matured you.
That could be. I'm also way behind on my writing, which is a shame considering there's no Wi-Fi at this hotel this weekend. But it is what it is.
You're staying at a hotel?
Yeah.
Just not at your parents' house?
Well, because we're like going up into the park. Cross into Canada. So, where is it? The point is, at some point, there's going to be a tweet that is just Pat Surtain destroying Davante Adams in that game last year in Vegas, which is going to be a lot of fun. I thought about trying to move that one up to yesterday because of all the Pat Surtain stuff, but I decided to save it. I can't find. Oh, well.
Okay. The other one that was notable in this category was Justin Simmons being named third best safety by his peers.
Yep.
And this is players and coaches, correct?
Players, coaches, executives, and players, coaches, executives.
I think that's it.
Scouts.
Oh, scouts.
Yes.
Okay.
So a lot better than just the Darrelle Revis and Asante Samuel on Twitter.
Well, also a lot better than the stupid NFL Network Top 100.
That is really stupid.
So this one I have a little bit of an issue with. Okay. Justin Simmons comes in at third. That seems good, right? Third best safety in the league according to everyone.
Yep.
Just one problem.
Yep.
Last year is number one. And I would say he defended that title honorably.
By leading the league in interceptions?
That's
a pretty good way to defend that that title.
So how does he fall to 3?
His worst finish in the last 3 years, somehow.
And again, he actually had if you remember back, he had a little bit of a slow start to the season.
Yeah, because he was hurt.
But then he had an amazing finish to the season.
Exactly. And that's why, I mean, I could see how you could, like, if you're a scout, how much Justin Simmons are you watching if he's missing 5 games, I think it was. Like, probably less. And so maybe he's less on your mind. You didn't see as many plays, whatever. He also still had crazy production in terms of the interceptions and all that. And I don't think on a list like this, you need to weight that injury at all. So
no,
it doesn't make much sense.
And I would say, if anything, the injury is like a feather in the case because of the fact that he still led the league in interceptions.
Definitely. And yeah, it was 5 games after he had never missed a game. I think in the 4 years, this says 4 years before he never missed a game.
Yep.
He must have missed one before that. AFC assistant coach said, I saw a little drop off maybe because of the injury, but he's still elite. Coverage skills and football intelligence are very high. NFC exec said he plays a nice, clean, smart game, always in the right place with ball skills and instincts. Not a splashy, knock you out guy, but the splash comes from takeaways.
Which is better?
Probably better, unless you're knocking the ball out too, in which case it's a 50-50 or if you're even getting that ball.
Still better to just take the ball.
It is definitely better to take the ball.
That's why in Madden I always press Y. Sometimes it comes back to bite me.
Yeah. That's kind of the Vance Joseph defense too. Just you go try to force a bunch of turnovers, and if you don't force a turnover, you're giving up a 3-play scoring drive. But either way, you get the ball back to the offense as fast as you can. That's how Sean Payton's defense have always played.
Yeah, the thing is your offense has to be good for that to work.
We'll see how that goes. The thing is, like, when it's Pat Surtain and Justin Simmons back there, and you're blitzing guys up front, it's going to go pretty well for the defense if that's going to be the strategy.
Yeah, I mean, it worked for like the 2013 Broncos too.
It did.
It was just like, be super aggressive on defense.
Yep.
If you get a turnover, you're probably going to win the game because you're going to go score a touchdown there and be ahead of schedule.
Yep.
But then, it can come back to bite you. I just think it makes no sense to drop Justin Simmons here. And I especially don't think like Minka or Derwin did anything special enough to unseat him.
Yeah. And there is, like, last year when he was number 1, his lowest ranking from any individual was 8th. This year's lowest ranking from any individual is 5th. So that means just at the top, guys are like, I just take Derwin over him, or I just take Minka over him. It's got to be so close.
It's been a while since we talked about voter fatigue.
It has. Do you think any of them remember that they put Justin Simmons first a year ago?
This is voter fatigue,
Voter
man. They're
fatigue.
just like someone else's turn. It's
Wow.
Minka's turn. That's what they said.
Wow. Minka Derwin, both 26. Simmons is only 29. I thought he was like 30.
Yeah.
I guess he's probably close. It's kind of the same thing.
That could be another reason. Just youth always kind of wins in these
Is
conversations.
that why Pat Surtain won?
It's part of the equation.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. But also he's going up against other really young guys, so it doesn't make as much of a difference.
True.
Who was 3 on that list?
Ramsey, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
there was some interesting stuff on Ramsey. Like the quotes were, so Ramsey's third. There it is. For me, it's more an effort issue than ability. I don't think he's declined physically. He can still do all the things that make him great. I'm just not sure he always plays hard. And which is kind of what you see.
Yeah.
Like when he's getting just like torched by Travis Kelce. And it's like, there's no reason for that. You can do better. Somebody else. Oh, no, wait. Was this the same guy? Same guy said he'll be locked in Miami. That defense is corner friendly. Fangio's made corners who can't play have good seasons. So imagine what he can do with a star like Jalen. It's kind of interesting. See if he goes to number 1 again next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Random question from Cavante Caldwell. RK, what's more likely? Broncos win 13 games or Russell Wilson wins MVP? I don't think Russell Wilson can win MVP without the Broncos winning 13 games. So I would say more likely is the Broncos win 13 games.
Definitely.
All right. Anything else on Justin Simmons or Pat Surtain's rankings?
Did you see a picture of Justin Simmons in the fire truck?
I did.
Can you think of a good use of that for Twitter?
No.
Why would he put it out? There we go. Mahomes is on fire. Somebody call it the...
It's not a good tweet.
Better than the last one.
Yeah.
Put out
It
the
is
defense
better
when it's on fire.
Yep. It's like one time I was playing basketball and I hit like 3 threes in a row. And then I was blowing on my hand, like saying, like, "Oh, I'm so hot." And then someone was like, "Well, if you were that hot, why would you blow it out?" And I was like,
Wow.
"Good point."
That
so
is
I
a
never
good
did
point.
that again.
That's what Yaya would do.
Yeah, it's true. He'd stick it in a vat of ice water.
Oh no, 3 in a row.
I might get contracted by the NBA. Get me out of here.
Wow. What percentage would Yaya have to shoot from 3 to be an NBA player?
100.
He just literally can't miss.
The way I'm built, I'm more of an NBA coach.
Actually, no.
He needs like
it would have to be
45% from the logo.
It would have to be 68% because he's given up a bucket every time on the other side. So his
true.
effective field goal percentage would have to be over 100.
It would have
Wow.
I mean, Marcus Howard was in the NBA and then left.
You definitely have to be a better shooter than Marcus Howard.
Exactly, and he was 6 feet tall?
He was electric. Yeah.
Maybe 69. Just to make it
Imagine
nice even
Yaya
number.
just shooting 68% from 3 in the NBA.
Because they have to be deep threes too. Because anything that's close, like they're getting blocked.
Right. He needs to be shooting what, like 7 a game at least at 68%.
I think you need 7 from like logo distance, making 2/3 of them.
Okay. Don't you think he could just like at first at least he could just post up in the corner because like they're just thinking we don't have to guard this guy.
Yeah, for the first like game.
So he might.
The next 81
He
are
might
going to be
score
rough
50 that
though.
game.
All I
Yeah.
need is a 10-game contract to get me through the rest of my life. That's all I'm looking for.
Wow.
Probably
Maybe
you probably
not.
need more than that.
Maybe not. Maybe
I
a
think
different
those
goal.
10 days are probably worth like
100K, 200K?
probably. Yeah.
Rest of
Smart
your life.
investments. After that, that's all I need. Just
Smart
100K.
investments. Yeah.
Putting like $5,000 into Apple isn't gonna do what you think it is.
It might be if I put into Bet365.
Oh wow. And bet on yourself to hit a bunch of threes.
Then I'm just Calvin Ridley and I have to pay it all right back, too.
Damn.
Wow.
Then you're suspended.
That's fine though. He was never gonna last.
Do you think
Yeah,
any
but I
players?
have to pay a fine.
What happens if you don't pay it though? You just can't play anymore. You're just banned.
I
Do
think
you
I
think-
can go to legal trouble because of it.
Do you think any players at NBA Summer League bet on themselves?
I haven't been able to find any player props.
Oh, that's
You'd have to
true.
find a bookie, which I don't think that generation knows how to find a bookie,
No. Used to be bookies just found you.
especially in Vegas.
Yeah.
Huh.
All right. What do we got to tell the people about? Good start.
So, well, Zach. Wait, who does? Zach usually jumps in.
That is true.
There's a Zach-shaped hole in the show. Very
tiny
small
hole.
Kind Love. Kind Love is cool for a bunch of reasons, including that you can get 25% off if you go to either one of their stores in North Denver or Cherry Creek, say DNVR, and get 25% off.
Hell yeah.
That alone makes them the best dispensary.
Yep,
but then
I would agree.
Then you jump into the other stuff, like they're a farm-to-table dispensary that's been around for more than a decade. They were one of the very first dispensaries in Colorado in 2010. They are known at this point for cultivating high-quality cannabis. It's all grown in the state. It's all grown by them and put into their dispensaries. But they also have some new innovations, like the Turbo Core, which is pretty crazy. It's a 100-milligram stick that looks exactly like a toothpick. It's full of full-spectrum cannabis concentrate. It's designed with a pointed tip, so you can easily slide it into any joint, blunt, or cigarette to instantly infuse it. It's also vegan, which means no meat or meat products.
I was just assuming that.
Animal products.
I want one that's not vegan. Do you think they'd like custom make that for me?
Just a nice meaty.
Yeah.
Well, if it's not vegan, it can be made out of like cheese or anything that comes from an animal. It does, like
yeah.
So
it no cheese. I could just take a cheese.
I think if it was non-vegan, that would be more surprising.
It would. Oh, definitely. That's why I want to see what they could come up with for me.
Most weed is vegan.
I think all is.
I'm sure there's something out there that's not.
Stay away from that.
They also utilize a patented process called microencapsulation. It's what prevents the concentrate from getting sticky or messy and helps to the overall burn temperature, curating a smoother, more pleasant experience. So much cool stuff over at Kind Love. Like I said, stores in Cherry Creek, North Denver. If you mention DNVR, you get the DNVR exclusive discount of 25% off all Kind Love flower, pre-rolls, and their turbo joint lines. So visit their website at kindlove.com for their full extensive menu and online ordering.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Spirit Hound, right over there in Lyons, Colorado. As an award-winning Colorado podcast, we appreciate other award-winning Colorado brands.
We do.
Spirit Hound's one of them. They won the 2022 Whiskey of the Year at the London Spirits Competition. Now,
wow.
We are just to assume that's in London, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a big deal. Like, it's not like they just won, like, pat on the back.
Oh, no.
Lions Whiskey of the Year.
There's a lot of people in London. A lot of spirits makers, probably.
A lot of whiskey drinkers.
Probably, yeah.
And they won it.
Yeah.
2022 Whiskey of the Year.
It's crazy. Speaking of bad jokes, last night we were watching that new show, where the plane gets hijacked on Apple TV.
No.
You didn't know?
Doesn't click for me.
Really? It's pretty.
What's it called?
Hijack. Idris Elba.
Self-explanatory.
Yeah, but it's actually, I don't know. It's a pretty good show, but only like the first 3 or 4 episodes are out. But they're flying to London, and Lexi, whenever there was like they'd like cut to like the Big Ben or something, she'd be like, "Oh, we've been there." I was like, "Wait, really?" And like the 4th time I said it, she was like, "Oh my God, you gotta stop saying that." That was a good time too.
And then you were like, well, "You gotta stop saying we've been there because I know."
Yeah.
Anyway, Spirit Hound.
Remember the boat tour left from right over there? No, I don't.
They love it in London. They love it in Lyons.
They do.
They love it everywhere in between.
They do.
And we have it here at the DNVR Bar. So if you want to come test it out before you buy yourself a bottle, do that. Or go to spirithound.com and get yourself some delicious spirits.
Do it. I also tweeted out that clip of KJ when they have him like pull as a lead blocker up the middle near their own goal line.
Mm-hmm. Did it work?
We got 14 likes in 20 minutes. Kind of a slow start compared to the Tebow clips, it would turn out.
Yeah, Tebow sells.
Tebow does sell. People just want to fight.
There's a certain caliber of fame that just like always hits.
Yeah.
It's like Coach Prime. Just everything about him hits.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy where it's like, because there's like decent arguments to be made on both sides, where it's like he was a bad quarterback. Like, objectively, like, it's pretty easy to make that case. Also, he won a playoff game and won, like, a lot of games. He did win a lot, which counts for something. But then you just get, like, the crazy stuff. Where it's like people say, like, oh, whenever you bring up Tebow, people just want... Nobody ever talks about anything except how they hate how he talked about his religion so much. It's like, well, I don't know if that's totally true. I think there's some fair football complaints you could make. Like, it's
We've
toxic.
talked about Tim Tebow a lot of times on this podcast.
Yeah.
We've almost never brought up anything about his religion.
That's the thing. But then there's other people who will just say, like, wow, he deserved, like, a real chance. Like, he could have been the best quarterback in the NFL if they get... And it's like, well, no, that's not true either.
Certainly not. I do believe he deserved another chance, a longer chance. The Broncos obviously made the right move.
Yeah.
They had the option of him or Peyton Manning, and there are still some people who think they were wrong. But honestly, though, like back then, the narrative was that Tim Tebow's fans were so crazy that teams were like afraid to give him a shot because they thought it would like create too much divide in the fan base.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of it. But then there's also the part where if you don't have a quarterback, would you rather bring in Tim Tebow after, because he was 2 years in the NFL at that point, and you've seen like obviously highs and lows in there, or would you rather use your first round pick on a quarterback?
I would use my first round pick.
And that's the thing. And that's where like when you're...
But are you trying to sell tickets? Because that would change things.
Most NFL teams don't struggle with that though.
No, it was
You'll
just the
sell some
Jaguars
Tebow
at
jerseys.
the time. Remember?
That is true.
They were getting like their games blacked out because
Yep.
they couldn't sell them out. I was like, just sign
That's true.
Tebow.
That would solve it. Who was their quarterback then? Was that have been before
Pre-Bortles.
Oof.
Like David Garrett is coming to mind.
That could be. He feels so long ago, but that still could be. So let's see. 2012, they were 2-14. Chad Henne and Blaine Gabbert.
Oh, Gabbert.
Yeah, so Tebow could have been an upgrade there.
Yep. Blaine
Definitely.
Gabbert. Von Miller draft class.
Von Miller draft class.
There are some people saying that. Like, there's always the late hype, and it was like the Panthers might actually take Gabbert instead of Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Turns out they made the right decision.
That is crazy. Yeah. But I mean, at that point, you have, what would that be? Like the number 3 pick? What pick was Gabbert? They were 5-11. Oh, and that was when Mel Tucker finished off the year.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Because Jack Del Rio 3-8. Mel Tucker was 2-3. And then I'm not sure what pick they had, but it would have been a high draft pick. But a top 10 pick or Tim Tebow, who there's excitement, but there's also he's kind of like damaged goods at that point.
But he was just looking for a chance. Probably could have got him on like a 1-year contract.
Definitely. But do you want him competing with your top 10 pick?
Who was the top 10 pick?
Blaine Gabbert, right?
Oh, okay. Yes, I do want that.
Okay. There you go.
But they didn't, and I understand. Okay, anyways, back to the conversation, which today we move on to the offensive line. You love talking about this offensive line.
I do.
And I think the big reason is because of the variance. Like,
yeah.
could be one of the best in the league.
Definitely.
Could be significantly below that. So where do you want to start with this? How
Let's
far?
start with the bad part.
Okay.
Instead of, then we can finish on the high note.
Okay.
But I mean, I just don't. Where does it leave you if Garrett Bolles is bad Garrett Bolles? Where like bad Garrett Bolles, he's on a down to down basis, he's good. Like he's not giving up a bunch of pressures. As a run blocker, he's going to be really solid at worst. But you're just going to have a few holding calls a game. No, not a game. You're going to have a holding call 2 out of 3 games would probably be him at his worst.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, those are drive killers. If you get a holding call, that's 2 of your 7 drives a game, 8 drives a game that you're just turning into a punt.
He had 10. Was that his worst year?
I think so. I can double check, but right around there.
Yeah, so that's 2 out of every 3 games.
But if you're killing 1 drive of your 7 or 8 every game, that's a significant portion where you're just not getting points.
Yeah, and I think this comes down to the old adage about offensive line, which is you're only as strong as your weakest link. And I think you're right that even bad Garrett Bolles isn't unplayable. Like, he is a good starter with a penalty problem at his worst. At least at his worst that we've seen.
True.
It will be a huge issue, though, if he's doing that.
Definitely.
And so, like, that probably knocks the offensive line out of the top 15.
I mean, I think if everything else goes well, you could still be up there. Just because, like, it's... I don't know. It depends on how good the rest are, I guess.
Okay.
But when you go through, like, Ben Powers, he, as your left guard, is... He's one of the better pass blocking guards in the NFL, and he's in the pass blocking guard spot, but he's also going to be asked to pull a bunch. And the mobility is not his best strength. And so you're asking for a bunch of your run plays to be kind of slow developing while you're waiting the extra quarter second or whatever for him to get all the way across and get his hands on somebody. And so that's one of those pieces where if he's struggling with that, and, you know, Mike McGlinchey's getting bullied, Lloyd Cushenberry's giving up some issues up the middle, then that could kind of be the catalyst where all those problems multiply because it's taking so much longer. At the same time, you know, one of the better pass blocking guards, maybe one of the best, but also as a left guard, you're sliding your protection so often to the left side to protect the blind side. You're getting double teams over there that, of course, a left guard... You know, Jeff Schwartz, I was just looking, he went on this like big rant a few years ago about how left guards are always going to be graded higher because they're getting help way more often than a right guard will. Right guards get left on the island. Left guards, more often than not, you're sliding your protection that way because so that you can get the 3-on-2 on that side when there's a 4-man rush and the 2-on-2 where the quarterback can see it. And so does that kind of... I don't know. That's getting a little off topic.
No, it's good stuff. It's great stuff. I'm just thinking more about like the best left tackles in the game. You're usually sliding away from them.
But you still have the guard over there. And so you still want the 3-on-2 on the blind side, especially because if you're taking the 2-on-2 on the other side, usually that's where your tight end is going to be lined up. So you're getting like a chip, or at least there's a piece where you got to like, it's tougher to get around that edge because there's at least a little bit more of an obstruction.
Okay.
And yeah, so I think that the point of all that is to say like, maybe Ben Powers isn't, you know, one of the 3 best pass blocking guards. And I think like Pro Football Focus had him as like the best or second best or something like that last year. Maybe he was getting helped out a little bit, especially on a good offensive line with the Ravens. And you could see him take a step back to being, you know, above average pass blocker where the mobility issues maybe show up a little bit more when the pieces around him aren't giving him time to get to his spots.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how high you can be ranked if your left tackle is a problem. Now, I think the overall talent of this group is the highest we've seen in a long time in Denver.
Definitely. Like, I mean, Garrett Bolles is a freak.
Yes.
Like, just athletically, size-wise. And again, like, on a play-to-play basis, he's a really good left tackle. It's just that there's the penalties or mistakes or whatever that can... knock him back just a little bit or more than a little bit.
I do think, though, having Ben Powers there is going to be a help to him.
Yeah.
I mean, we heard, you know, stories from Dalton Reisner's rookie year that he was kind of helping out with Garrett Bolles. Now Garrett has the best left tackle or left guard he's ever played next to. That should be a bonus for him.
Definitely. And just the amount of strength you have on that side. Like if you want to... Like if you're running a dive, like it's 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, you just go over to that left side. Those guys should be able to get you a yard or two a push. Like that is just so much size and strength and muscle. How big is Ben Powers? He's like 330 pounds.
He's huge.
He's
absolutely massive.
And you see him out in space and you're like, oh my God, what is he trying to do? He's not a fast football player.
No.
But then as soon as he gets his hands on somebody, it's just like, nope, you're just stuck right there.
Well,
and it just is what it is.
Speed is just never going to be a thing for a guy that big. But I will say, like, his agility isn't bad.
No.
Like,
no.
he gets out there.
Definitely.
And he doesn't, like, trip over himself or
and
anything
he's just so
like
wide,
that.
too.
Yeah.
where it's like if somebody wants to like just shake past him, it's like good luck.
Go, like
It's
you want to go around him this way, Javonte or whoever it is going the other way. And They have plenty of time to figure it out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Garrett is just always going to scare me.
Yeah.
But if I can get to a good place about Garrett, then I can get really excited about this offensive line.
I think
Like,
that is a big part.
The thing you just said about running dive on 3rd and 1, I feel like the Broncos haven't converted one of those in 5 years.
No, they haven't been able to run. Like you said, the talent is just insane now. And you look at McGlinchey on the other side.
I know.
He's another just freak athlete, like basketball player type athlete.
Yes.
And for him, you worry about like you play Max Crosby twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
Max Crosby last year embarrassed Mike McGlinchey, and so did Frank Clark, and so did Randy Gregory. And luckily, you got those two guys in practice every day, and so maybe you learn something, and maybe he's coming back from he had the crazy hip injury. The lower body strength could start to come back more this year than it did last year. But you still do worry if he's just going to get beat up by those guys. If he doesn't, if he can hold his own against power rushers, then all of a sudden you get him out in space. He's incredible at that.
Yep. And I think McGlinchey is similar to Bolles in the sense that it's like really, really good until it's bad.
Yeah. That's
And
a lot of it.
If you showed me a cut up of just good McGlinchey plays, you'd be like, oh, this guy's one of the best in the league. And if you showed me a cut up of just good Bolles plays, you'd feel the same way. Once in a while, they both kind of, fall on their face a little bit.
Yep.
And that stuff gets extra publicized. But you assume, I don't know if you assume this. I'm assuming those things aren't going to happen at the same time a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's a chance one guy has a down game and the other guy has
Yep.
a great game, and they can kind of, to use a golf term, ham and egg it. Again, you just go back and you look at the group, and it gets you really excited. Like I said, I'm not there with Bolles. I'm always going to be a little bit worried about him, and then you come back to Cush. And if we're talking about the low end for this group, you have to talk about Lloyd Cushenberry, who at this point to me has not earned the right to be a starter.
Yeah, and that's probably fair, and that's probably why, even though the Broncos could have brought him back off of IR last year, they decided not to and let Graham Glasgow hold it down. They had so many guys coming back, they had to pick and choose which ones they wanted. And I'm trying to think, like, who did come back late? Like Randy Gregory. They brought Randy Gregory back for that one game that he played at the end of the year. That could have been Lloyd Cushenberry.
Yep.
And there was a list of players who, some weren't even starters, and I'm trying to think of some examples, who came back that they chose over Lloyd, which is kind of telling. Also, bad offensive line coach last year. So the fact that you didn't see much development shouldn't be too much of a surprise. The big thing is just the anchor. He just gets pushed back so much. Struggles to push guys back in the running game himself. I don't know. He's just so long. Like, you still see a lot of the things that you saw when he was at LSU that made him, a lot of people thought he was going to be a first-round pick.
Yeah.
And
he dominated at the Senior Bowl against someone who was, like, really impressive. And everyone, that that, like, skyrocketed his stock.
I just watched that recently. I was just going through, because I'm scheduling all those tweets.
Was it Jeffrey Simmons?
It could have been. But there's also great stuff that he's done against Chris Jones, too. Like when he's been one-on-one with Chris Jones and just hasn't let him by because he's just so long that if he doesn't get pushed back, he's in great shape. And even if he does get pushed back a step or two, that might not be the end of the world, especially when Russell Wilson wants to get out of the pocket. But yeah, I mean, you're not super hopeful at this point. Me and Dre were talking about, I mean, he's like the second or third oldest lineman in the room now.
Well, and then you surround him with Powers and Miners, and you're just like, maybe.
Yeah.
You're giving him so much help. And as much as, I said, you're only as strong as your weakest link, the other links can help strengthen the weakest link. It's not as simple as everyone's on an island by themselves all the time. Especially
a center who's mostly double teaming guys.
Yep.
Like, he's not alone all that often, unless there's blitzes and that sort of thing. But yeah, And then Miners, who you worry about the pass protection. That's a big one. Again, it's like that. The right guard winds up with all the one-on-one, not all the one-on-ones, a bunch more one-on-ones. And typically, like, he's going to get the Chris Jones assignment. He's going to get the Quinnen Williams is going to be lined up right there. I'm not sure who they don't play the Titans this year, so not Jeffrey Simmons. But those are what you worry about. And Miners is somebody who's still very raw as a pass blocker. Didn't play out of a 2-point stance at all in college, and has been hurt consistently for the last couple of years. And I see him get hurt too much his rookie year, just didn't get to play all that much. But because of that, he's just raw. And if he doesn't take that step, then you have him on the 1-1. You have McGlinchey who's getting pushed back. You got Garrett Bolles who's potentially holding guys. But that's without even mentioning Lloyd Cushenberry. Then all of a sudden, pass protection could be a weakness. It's possible.
Let's flip to the other side of this. But first, a shout out to our friends over at Breckenridge Brewery. Just great beers, man.
Great beers.
This is a patio beer week. 5 o'clock patio beers when it's hot out. That's my kind of thing.
Wow.
I get home from work and I'm just like, oh, it's beautiful out. I want to go out on the patio and have a beer.
Wow.
And it's Strawberry Sky July.
It is.
So, and it's also Palisade Peach July at the DNVR Bar. I do love a Palisade Peach. I feel like they missed the rhyme there, Strawberry Sky July. But I'm on board with both. And actually, Palisade Peach mixed with Strawberry Sky would probably slap.
Huh. Interesting. I'm not sure.
If there was like a Strawberry Peach smoothie at Jamba Juice, you'd try it.
I usually just go strawberry banana.
Well, that would be weird. Banana beer would be weird.
Banana beer. Bananas are good for smoothies, but not much else. In terms of liquids.
Bread.
Juices. Yeah. Juices don't work.
No one wants banana juice.
How much juice could you even get out of a banana?
Very little.
Like if you really squeezed it, you might not get any. It might all be mush.
Someone's going to comment being like, that's actually like one of the most highly nutritionalized juices is
what
banana
about banana
juice.
Milk? I'm sure there's banana milk.
There is.
No.
Not for me.
But you can't, I don't know. People just call anything milk.
Anyways.
Do you see the lady, somebody on Twitter was saying like, it was breast milk. She was like, you can't call that milk. Everything's milk now. Like milk from nuts, milk from like coconut. Milk just comes from cows. It's like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever.
Wow.
Yeah. I like when people say dumb things.
People should stop posting.
They should. My other favorite thing is when people just like
Zach.
They'll just like post TikToks on Twitter. And it'll just be like people doing weird things. Like yesterday, there was this lady who was just smelling chocolate while she was eating broccoli. It's like, I really hate this. But is that just what TikTok is?
TikTok is everything.
Wow. I'm staying away from that place.
I think you'd like it. Anyways, check out Breckenridge Brew. Go to breckbrew.com. Use the Breck Brew locator to find the nearest ones to you.
Do it. Also, Illegal Pete's. They have a new special. Right now, you can get a bucket of High Noons for $22.
That's a good deal.
It is a good deal.
It's a really good deal.
Yeah, that's like $4.50. They're probably $5 in a bucket. Probably gets $5. That's a good deal. They also had the house beer deal is also a good deal. They have a bunch of good deals. Illegal Pete's is kind of the king of deals. But they also have burritos that are very good, and quesadillas, and burrito bowls, and nachos, and all that sort of stuff that we eat a bunch. And they also have a happy hour every day from 3 to 8 at all 12 Illegal Pete's locations. So stop by, have a few margaritas at the happy hour price. Also, don't forget to stop by if you're going to a game, because if you have a ticket, you can get a free margarita or draft beer with the purchase of an adult entree.
Wow. Illegal Pete sounds good. I haven't had it in a minute since I was out of town.
Yeah.
Might need to happen.
Yeah.
I actually need food like right now.
Yeah, I'm starting to get hungry. I just bought a bunch of like frozen dinners.
Sounds like a thing you would do.
Yeah. Like you can just get like a piece of lasagna for like $2. You throw it in the oven.
Wow.
And it's like a good piece of lasagna.
Yeah.
Very high sodium. That's the only downside.
Yeah.
Outside of the sodium in those things, like it's like 300 calories. It's like $2. It's lasagna.
Perfect.
Yeah. Like what more could you ask for?
You're gonna have to drink a little bit more water for all that sodium.
I do wonder like what happens when you have too much sodium, but nah.
One time I was on a flight when I was like 10 years old by myself. It was like I think it was my first ever flying alone experience. And I just kept
lasagna.
I just kept ordering Bloody Mary mix, like to drink. I liked that when I was a kid.
Huh.
And I had like 3 of them. And when I got off the plane, my grandparents were there to greet me, and like the flight attendant who walked me off was like, he did have 3 Bloody Mary mixes, and I looked at how much sodium there is in those. And so I think he's at like 4,000% the daily intake. So
Whoa.
First of all, sorry, but you might want to also get him a water. I think she was worried that she was going to kill me.
Yeah. I don't do Bloody Mary. I don't do tomato juice.
I think you might like micheladas.
What is that?
Do you know who we're talking about here?
I know,
Yeah.
but the thing is, if you don't tell him what it is and he just drinks one,
No.
I think he might, because they're spicy a little bit, so that might get him.
I'm immune to wasabi now.
Shut up.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Like I took like
Rub
the
it in
whole.
your eyes and let's see how immune you are.
Well,
Well,
not in the eyes. My eyes are not immune at all because I've never put it there. But we eat so much sushi. Like it's once or twice a week.
Wow.
That I remember like it used to just be like, oh, a little tiny bit. And then like you do that tiny bit, like 1 in 4 would be like, oh, that one got me. Like my eyes were. I was testing it last night. I was just taking like these massive, like the top was just green. And I would eat it and I'd be like, nothing.
Wow.
I think that's what happens.
You built up. Yeah, that's how spicy foods work.
Does it apply to all spicy foods or
Yeah.
is it just wasabi now?
You need to start building up your tolerance so you can have a michelada.
That actually is true. Like, around the world, if you eat more spicy food, you'll be immune to spicy food more, and you'll want more spicy food.
Does it cross
The
types
story
of
of my
food
life.
though? Because I like salsa is
your
still hot.
wasabi tolerance is not going to help you with
That's what
other hot sauce.
Because that's what I felt, which is so weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess your body just learns like, no,
wasabi
this actually
isn't
won't kill
actually
me.
spicy. It's like a whole other sensation.
Well, because it's not supposed to be spicy at all.
It's not.
Like the initial, like when Japanese people started making it, there wasn't a spicy food. But then, like at some point, Americans made wasabi spicy. So
It's
that's
not
why.
spicy. It's like other spicy foods don't affect your nose. Like hot sauce is not. You're not like, whoa, that's burning my nostrils.
I was thinking like hot mustard does, but that's also kind of the same.
That's a whole other category, in my opinion.
Huh. So maybe that's why, like salsa is hot. That'll get me.
That's spicy, yeah.
Yeah.
But you could go back to St. Elmo's Steakhouse,
Oh yeah.
have that cocktail sauce. You might have a higher tolerance.
I that's one of my biggest life regrets is that I got anything other than just like 3 of those cocktails for dinner.
It's that good.
It's
it really
like
is that good.
It's like I can get a piece of fish or a steak or whatever anywhere. I don't need.
That ahi tuna dish they have there is amazing.
It is. Next year I'm just getting like 5 of those.
Okay. What were we talking about?
Oh yeah.
Oh, but we're on to the. Oh no, we're on to the upside now.
Yeah. But what is the floor? Like
20th.
They couldn't be. I think it could be a little lower.
That's their healthy floor, obviously.
Healthy floor. We're assuming health. Good news is they have Cam Fleming, who's sick. I can't. So you go back through all these things. Like I'm watching all these Quinn Miners clips, and it's like there's Cam Fleming just leading the way, 15 yards downfield. Like how he is not a starter in the NFL, I still don't know.
It's kind of a dog.
He is kind of a dog, and he's another one. Him and Frank Clark could be like, if things don't go well for the Broncos, but they do still stay relatively healthy at tackle and edge rusher, those could be like big trade candidates.
Oh, interesting.
Because Frank Clark, the way that they structured his deal is crazy. Like they're going to be paying off this 1-year contract in 2026.
Why?
Just void years. Spread it out.
Why'd
The
they
Sean
do
Payton
that?
way. Isn't that because you just see it coming? Like you know what's going to happen.
I think this is good because we'll get the instant gratification that Sean Payton brings. Mm-hmm. Sean Payton was made for Gen Z.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so he's a $2.27 million cap hit this year, 3.18 in 2024, 1.06 in 2025, 1.06 in 2026.
I mean, it's a good deal for him.
Yeah. But what that means is
he'll be long into retirement, still getting checks from the Broncos.
Definitely. And if the Broncos want to trade him at the deadline, he's a $1.2 million salary, which I guess for the second half of the season is like 0.6, like a $600,000 salary. So another team could trade for the league's third leading all-time playoff pass rusher, who's still only 30, just turned 30, pay $600,000.
It's a good deal.
Yeah.
That is a good deal.
Same thing with Cam Fleming, who's like $1 million.
Okay, let's get to the ceiling.
Oh, yeah. Well, the ceiling is Garrett Bolles has been an All-Pro before.
Yep.
Ben Powers was the best offensive line or best guard on the market and like could just be the best pass protecting guard in the league because of his strength and all that sort of stuff. And as a run blocker, obviously he's going to get you plenty of push. Quinn Meinerz, I think, has the best upside of any of these guys. Like, he is the freakiest of any of them, just the combination of athleticism and strength and, like, by far the nastiest player. Mm-hmm. Like, in terms of highlight plays, like, he will easily lead all the linemen in highlight plays. Like, that's just what he does. And the pass protection, again, he's so raw, he could figure all that out. And then you have McGlinchey, who you just hope that his lower body is strong, or stronger than last year. He'll definitely be stronger than last year, but that it becomes just like not an issue.
Yeah.
And he's not getting thrown around when he plays Max Crosby twice a year. That's the big concern. I guess because even in the rest of the division, there's nobody else. Like, you know, Joey Bosa a little maybe, but not really. So like that's the one concern. If he can handle Max Crosby, then all of a sudden you're looking at a great group. And then you've got Lloyd, who, if he can just be like a real starting center with all those other guys, that offensive line could be the best in the league.
So I was going to say best in the league is probably off the table.
Okay.
That's going to go to the Eagles.
They lost Sayamalu.
They did.
But
they keep Lane Johnson. They keep Jason Kelsey. They keep the rest of the line. I think, especially with the way they call it and all that stuff, like we're going to still feel like they're the best.
I wonder who the Lions lost. Because that's, to me, the big one. Who else? I think the Lions are probably the best. The Eagles are probably right up there. And then nobody else really jumps out. Oh, the 49ers.
What about the Chiefs? I had to bring them
Chiefs,
up.
no. They've got terrible tackles.
Yeah.
I guess they did just bring in the Bengals guy.
Oh, right. No.
No, Bengals brought in Orlando Brown. Who did the Chiefs get? They just paid a lot of money to somebody. Was it the Bengals guy?
Yes, it was the Bengals guy.
It was the Bengals guy?
Right?
I think it was. Yeah. But, I mean, the Lions, I don't think they lost anybody. Penei Sewell, highly prolified tie guy.
I was going to say the ceiling is top 5.
That's fair.
Now, that kind of means they could be 5, 4, maybe 3.
The Lions brought in Graham Glasgow to be the backup, which I guess is what he was with the Broncos. But that, if you had him and you had Cam Fleming as your backups, that'd be incredible.
It would be nice. It would be nice.
They brought in Nick Allegretti and
he sucks.
Jawan
Taylor.
Yeah, the offensive tackle.
He's good.
Not to be confused with Juwan James.
That's who I was
who the
thinking of
Broncos
right now,
finished
like-
paying last year.
Yikes. So yeah, I think they can be a top 5 offensive line. And I think, well, let me ask you this. Should that be the expectation or is that too high of an expectation?
That's too high.
So what's the
Offensive lines are just
expectation? Top
weird.
10?
Yep.
So 20 to me is the floor. Top 10 should be the expectation. Top 5 is the ceiling.
Probably.
Or are you saying 1 is the ceiling?
I think there's a chance. They probably need an injury or two. But when you're talking about game past the Lions, I guess Lions is tough. But Penei Sewell's been hurt before. Mm-hmm. Like, he's been hurt quite a bit. And the Eagles' offense, like, they've got the 2 guys. And both those guys are old. And the 49ers, I don't know.
Yeah.
They lost McGlinchey.
And health is everything. And we're assuming health for the Broncos in these conversations. So it's a little unfair to, like, not assume health for all the other places. But I think that they can be a top 5 offensive line group, and I think it's comforting to me that Sean Payton came in and was like, invest in the offensive line first and foremost.
Because that's what he did the same thing when he went to the Saints, because that's what Bill Parcells did. Like, it is football.
Yes.
Like, that's how you win football games, is just beating guys up in the middle. It'd be nice. The Broncos screwed up so many times because they wound up in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7 over and over and over again, and no team converts those. Like, if you're in 3rd and 8 and you convert 20% of the time, you're doing great.
Yeah.
25%. You're doing great. And if you can just avoid that by being able to run the ball on first down, the Broncos stopped running the ball on first down last year. They were like 5th or 6th in the NFL in passing percentage on first downs. Like, they just didn't have the option because the running backs were hurt, but also the line was bad.
And Melvin was just going to fumble it if you gave it to him.
True. Yeah.
They got put in one of the worst running back situations you can be in.
Yeah. I feel like every team, like once every 6 years, just has that happen.
Yep.
Where it's just like, oh, running backs are just hurt this year. The Broncos had that one crazy one with Selvin Young, where he was playing, like, I think they brought Tatum Bell back, like out of the Verizon store or whatever. Mike Bell was also running the ball that year.
Yep.
Like, they just went through like 7 different guys.
Ryan Terrain.
Yeah.
He's like a rookie out of Arizona State. I think he had like a 110-yard game his first game. I was like, oh, this guy torn ACL.
Ugh. But and it just happens sometimes.
Yeah. It would be, the Broncos are due for a healthy season. I'll touch wood, I think.
Yep.
But that's going to be, that might be, other than restoration, I think that health is the second most important part to the Broncos having a good season.
Yeah.
They just need one season where they aren't putting star players on IR.
They've had like bottom 10 injury luck pretty easily in 7 consecutive seasons.
Yeah. Need that one to turn around.
Yep.
All right.
Unless it gets Cam Fleming on the field. Just kidding. We don't
do that.
The tackles get hurt.
What do we got next?
Oh, next we have I miss Zach. Loading my messages. Okay, that's taking a while.
Shady Rays.
Shady Rays. Oh, I got my Shady Rays. I've got a second pair of Shady Rays now too, which is nice because if you want to, you could like leave one just in your car, have one that you like keep around the house. That way you never forget to take it in the car.
That's what I do.
That's smart.
Yep.
That's the way to do it. I had a new sunglasses thought. Oh, like maybe they're like chapstick. No, this is kind of a negative sunglasses thought because I'm very positive on sunglasses now that I've started using them. Sunglasses are awesome.
You're one of a kind, man.
Oh, we gotta go a different way. Just buy them because there's an awesome deal and because they're great sunglasses. And even if there wasn't an awesome deal, they'd still be super affordable compared to where they should be priced. They're basically like high-end glasses. Like if you took the little logo in the corner of these and scratched off the logo in the corner of like a different pair of sunglasses,
don't do that.
Then you would not be able to tell the difference. Other than, I guess this part is you can't scratch that off. But they are just incredible sunglasses, and they're way more affordable than comparable sunglasses. And if you go to either store like Cherry Creek, or if you just go online to shadyrays.com, use the promo code DNVR, you can get 50% off 2 or more pairs of sunglasses. So definitely go do that.
It's basically a BOGO.
Basically. Yeah.
It is a BOGO.
It is.
Everyone had their Shady Rays in Vegas. It was sick.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were just opting to wear them inside.
Really?
Just the whole
you get
time.
away with that there.
You can.
Huh.
It's like, I think it was started by those poker guys who just wear sunglasses at the poker table.
I also saw a picture of Kim Kardashian. She was playing poker and sunglasses. They're reflective sunglasses.
Oh, no.
That's who we make billionaires in this country.
Well, thankfully, they don't care. It's okay if they see your cards at the blackjack table.
That was not blackjack.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
But yes.
If you're wearing your Shady Rays like we were, actually, I didn't wear mine inside, but other people did. And
who? Anybody from this company? Was it Brendan?
I think I saw Brendan doing that.
Okay.
Yep. I forgot who works at this company. Just
Weird.
In general.
Wow.
Yeah. I can see the people in this room. That's all I can remember right now.
Wow.
No, I think it was Shane was doing it. Gerald. Matt Peck. Rock some sunglasses inside.
Huh.
But it was just like a shady. They were just so loyal to Shady Rays. Couldn't take them off.
Okay. I guess that's fine. Oh. I thought there was another ad.
There isn't. All right. I saw a super chat. Let's hit that. Yeah. Oh, 2 super chats. Okay. From Kyle Garcia. On the cornerback GOAT conversation, if you don't go Dion, you have to go Champ. Champ is easily the greatest to never get a ring. That fact really stings.
Yep. He deserved one.
Yeah. Yep, he did. And I agree with everything you said.
That was the worst part of Super Bowl 48. Is that was Champ's one chance.
I know. Next one from Chance Manning. Thank goodness RK is back. Too much football talk on the last few days.
That is pretty like me and Dre talk more about football than we've talked about football. In particular, what we decided was non-quarterback football. That's where you could be like a month. Yahir agrees.
I can agree with this. It was all ball.
We got into the weeds. We finally did the undrafted free agents podcast, breaking down all of them.
Okay.
Yep.
That is very much in the weeds. I can see why they're glad.
But Dre knew.
An hour long. Every pod was over an hour long.
If you have Dre on though, like that's what Dre knows.
He knows ball. That's what he knows.
Dre knows ball.
All right, let's get to the comments on the website now. And the first one comes in from Spacebar. I don't have a comment on the podcast as I haven't listened to it yet and trying to catch up. But I wanted to put out there that an OG like me is still listening. Spacebar really is an OG.
He is.
One, shout out to Nacho Brad as well. And didn't we already do this? Maybe I'm just having deja vu. Shout out to Nacho Brad as well and all the BSN/DNVR OGs. Congratulations to Zach. Best wishes to him.
Yes.
3, shout out to my wife as we just celebrated our 13-year anniversary on July 11th.
That's unlucky.
And she sometimes listens to the podcast.
Congrats.
4, Slante. I don't know. To all the DNVR Broncos family from Ireland. He gave me a pronunciation guide. It made it harder.
Oh, really?
What is that? How would you pronounce that?
Oh, the upside down E makes it tricky. Because that could mean anything. Che, chi, chu, cha.
Slanche.
I don't need to stop.
Finally, we'll catch up again and try to comment as a diehard more often. Until then, I'm looking forward to all the off-season shenanigans from Ryan, Zach, and Henry.
If it was Che, it would probably just be A-Y, would be how you'd write it. So it can't be that.
If it was E, it would just be an I.
Or would that be Chai? Chi. No, you just do E-E.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's a sound I don't know.
We rounded out with the count. My contention, Brock Lobster stays put, Coobs returns, Broncos make the playoffs in 2016, and subsequently never draft DeMarcus Walker, Carlos Henderson, Brendan Langley, Isaiah McKenzie, Jake Butt, D'Angelo Henderson, and Chad Kelly, although he came with a lot of entertainment for a Mr. Relevant pick. The whole space-time thingy would have been different, and we might have drafted, instead from that same draft, such fellas as Kamara, Kupp, Kittle, or Aaron Jones. Granted, that draft was weak, but just imagine, what say ye, love the count. Your thoughts, love the count.
My big thought is that if you spend too much time looking at who you could have drafted at each pick, you're going to go crazy.
And
it's just not healthy.
The greatest team of all time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you could find 7 Hall of Famers. Maybe not 7, because that 7th round pick, you're not finding one. Except in unless there's an undrafted guy that year.
That's true.
You could draft him. You could find 4 Hall of Famers.
Yes.
Are there 4 per draft class?
Yes.
I'm overthinking this.
Yes. I think there are 4 Hall of Famers per draft class.
But then you need one to be after like the 4th round. Or in the 4th round or later. To use your 4th round pick on it.
Yeah. You do.
In general. Probably. Point is, yeah. Could have done better in that draft class. Could have done better in every draft class.
Well, let me ask you this. Alvin Kamara, Hall of Famer?
Probably.
I think probably as well.
Probably.
Cooper
The
Kupp,
legal stuff doesn't help.
Hall of Famer?
No. I mean, he came on
probably.
late, right? Because he was like 30 in his breakout season.
Was he really?
I think so.
I don't think so.
That could be wrong.
I'm going to say 28 in his breakout season, 30 now. This one's easy, so you can do it while looking up. George Kittle, Hall of Famer.
Oh, he's only 30 now. I was wrong. Kittle, yeah, Kittle is.
And then Aaron Jones, Hall of Famer.
Aaron
Not yet.
Jones, no. Okay. I don't think Kamara will be.
So these were just guys the Broncos could have had in that draft class.
Yeah. I think I'm not betting on a running back to not hit a wall soon. I don't know if he's done enough yet, you know?
Fair enough. I think Kupp's going to be there.
He's 30. He doesn't have a quarterback.
He does have a quarterback.
Do you see the Rams were trying? They said like they're doing everything they could to trade Stafford this offseason.
Oh, yikes.
Which makes sense. He's washed.
It's a
He's old.
Far fall from when him and McVay were hanging out in Cabo right after the trade.
Do you know Russell Wilson is older now than when Joe Flacco was when Elway said he's still elite? And everybody laughed.
Older?
He's older now.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, they were the same age last year.
Thing is, yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, that was a sad note
finish.
to end
Yeah,
on.
that was dark.
Good job, Henry.
Whoops.
We will be back tomorrow.
Yes, we will.
And who knows what could happen then.
Jeez.
See you guys.